you're at the store and you see your favorite pair of jeans, but it's the last pair of jeans. And then a woman comes up behind you and she tries to take that pair. And you stop and you think, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that.
All right, welcome to
Fuck that, baby.
with Jihan and or and Jihan.
It doesn't
whatever.
matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me either.
You know, I feel like we're two bad bitches. So
Hey.
like,
A little bit about ourselves. I'm from Israel. I'm an Israeli immigrant.
she's a goddamn foreigner.
You can't get more Israeli than me.
And I'm from Oakland, but everyone thinks I'm a foreigner because of my name. People don't believe me when I tell them I'm from California.
How was Oakland? I've never been there.
It's a beautiful place. It's changing rapidly.
Well, how so?
A lot of white folk. And then they're like moving because a lot of like the tech people are moving to Oakland because San Francisco is so expensive.
Oh, wow.
Oakland's overpriced now, and it's like displacing a bunch of homeless people. So now there's all these like homeless camps in places there never were in Oakland. It's weird.
I bet.
It's like there are parts of it that are really nice. Like, but there was always nice parts of Oakland. But now, you know, it's all like hipstery a little bit.
Like the techie hipstery.
Yeah.
Well, they have Google headquarters. Like what?
No, they don't have shit there.
So
let me tell you
where are
something
the
right now.
techies? Where do they work at?
Listen, all the tech people work in Silicon Valley, right? Or in San Francisco. And when they first started moving in, maybe like about 10 or so years ago, they were getting paid these insane salaries. So fucking landlords raised the rent because they're like, hey, they're getting paid. They can pay this. But the rent just kept going up. So even the tech people couldn't afford to live there. So they moved outside of the city. They started moving to like Oakland and shit. And they can get more space for less money. And they can get like a yard and shit. And so then that rose the prices in Oakland. And now they're trying to come to Richmond where my family lives. And I'm like, fuck that. So.
God damn.
Really.
God damn.
But, you know.
They did this here in Venice, too. Because they have, I think, either YouTube headquarters or Google or Facebook. I don't know, one of them. And it was also expensive to live in Venice. But now it's really expensive. They have a lot of tech people.
Well, you know, Venice used to have, like, a shit ton of homeless people. Like, Venice was, like, a sketchy kind of beach town.
Doesn't
yeah,
it?
but
in
it
the
used
nighttime.
to be. Yeah, but it used to be like, okay, yeah, I live in Venice, but don't go out past 9 because it's like sketchy as fuck, right? But now everyone's just like driving. They're riding their birds and their lime scooters, and they're sleeping on the beach.
9 is such a weird time for shit to get sketchy.
It's just like a lot of, you know, meth heads and shit out there. You know, white homeless people. Well, people are scared of black homeless people, but I'm like, the white ones you gotta watch out for.
But they got a lot of disappointment and failures and stuff like that more, right? I don't know.
Also,
I heard this guy, he said this joke of like, if you're a homeless guy and you're like a white homeless guy, like I'm not gonna give you money because this one's on you. Fuck, I don't remember his name.
Ty did that joke.
Ty did that? All right.
Oh my god,
that was a good joke.
He's like, yeah, because he was like, yeah, I don't give money to white homeless people.
I've never seen a homeless Jew.
Well, they don't tell you. They're not wearing. They don't have payas when they're sitting.
I've actually never in my life.
They're
seen
like
a
wearing an
homeless
old ratty yarmulke. Like,
oh my god. Oh my god.
They must exist. No, you know who you really don't
Do you know
really
how much
see?
shit would a homeless Jewish person get from just like
Well,
random
you know, but you know, white Jews can pass, so people don't necessarily know. Some of them don't know they're Jewish, so they're just like, "Oh, you're a white guy." But you know who you don't see a lot of?
Who?
Homeless Asian people.
Because Asians they got a really high like work ethic, right? They got like really high.
But
Their
also, like,
parents
and their families take care of each other. Like, you fucking live with your mom till you're goddamn nearly, your kids are in college.
like my friend is homeless and like according to what she's like, you're a disappointment if you don't have a good job, so you can't be homeless. Like the standard of disappointment
you can't be homeless, dude.
is too high.
I mean, there are like Asian people who are homeless, but a lot of times they'll have like mental illness issues, and then they're just like an embarrassment to their family.
Wow.
How sad.
Wow. I've been in wow, what's it? It's not San Francisco. I keep mixing.
San Jose?
No, I keep mixing the San.
San Bernardino?
No.
There's so many Sans. Like, I could go on forever.
I've been to one of them.
San Rafael?
No.
San Mateo?
No. You should hear me sing songs. Like, I fuck up all the lyrics too. But San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. I was in the wrong part of California.
And I was walking the street and I saw a bunch of homeless people my age. I was like in the 20s, 30s, and they looked like the happiest people. So I'm sitting with them and I'm like talking and stuff like that. And they're homeless by choice. And the stories, and they're so happy. And the stories they tell me, and there's like, I don't miss anything. This is how I want to live. And I was like, that is dope.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Not for me. That's not for me.
Right. It's not for anyone.
Yeah, no. I mean, I probably could live minimally, but I ain't living on those streets. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna.
Right.
That's not my life. I like urban camping. I heard someone call it that. They called it urban camping. They're like, I'm not homeless, so I'm an urban camper. So I'm like, yeah, I don't like regular camping. So
Right. I used to like camping when I was really young.
Yeah. Where do you camp in Israel?
Dude, you've got so many desert. I've camped actually in the Dead Sea a lot, and it gets really hot there. And the Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth.
Really?
It's minus 400 in height or whatever.
Jesus, you're basically in hell.
There's actually a bar there that it's called the lowest bar in the world.
Of course it is. It's fucking in hell.
And it's hot. But the sad thing about the Dead Sea, and who's ever listening, I want them to know. I don't know why, but it's dying. The Dead Sea is dying.
That's what I heard.
Because all these Dead Sea products, the cosmetics and stuff.
That's
so
right.
they just
they're extracting them
extracting all the salts and everything, and
all
it's
the
just
minerals.
sucking up all the sea. And last time I was in Israel, it was just half its size, and it was one of the saddest things. It's one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah, it is. Like, but like, who's letting them do this shit?
It's just corruption, right? It's just corruption.
They want the
government,
money.
They want the money, and the thing is,
nobody's soft skin.
It's true. Nobody's getting any profit but these families that own it's a big thing in Israel. Like,
who owns the Dead? Do people own the Dead Sea? Who owns it?
The Dead Sea is a place. The government owns it. It's Israel. Like, people are supposed to enjoy it. If you put the mud from the Dead Sea on your face, it's one of the most healing things. You go to the Dead Sea and you put that mud, and your skin is beautiful for days. It has something. It has all kinds of minerals that literally it's only there, I think, in the world.
Well,
and they're sucking it. And guys, we're trying to say the Dead Sea is dying.
I need to go there. Get
to
a gallon
Israel.
of fucking Dead Sea dirt. To
it's
put
the
on my
funnest thing in the
fucking
world.
face every night.
It's the funnest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Listen, fellas, I'm about to go to Israel real quick. I'll be back.
Dude, Israel, I remember. So there's a lot of tourists in Israel, and a lot of religions come there. Christians and Muslim and Jews, and it's just a unique place, because in such a small place you've got like all the religions almost, and they get along. Despite what you see in the news, the majority of space in Israel, people get along. But I remember I was sitting with my friend, and we were at the river Jordan, where
Sounds poetic as fuck.
where I don't know if that's where Jesus walked on water, but maybe.
River
And
Jordan.
we were looking at so we were because we're camping because we're local, so that's where we camp, right? And we're sitting there, and just a bunch of Christians come and they baptize and they say their prayers and they sing and they do all that stuff in the Jordan River. And I was like, because the thing is, so I saw some stones in the river, and the stones, like, you can walk on the stones and it kind of looks like you're walking on the water.
So do you think that's what Jesus did?
No, I'm talking
He was walking on stones. You're saying Jesus didn't walk on water.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying me and my friend. I'm just saying me and my friend was sitting there, and it was like, do you think this guy just like walked on the stones? And we were cracking up.
There's a lot of questions because perception is totally different then.
Right.
Like, they were thinking about different shit. They'd never seen a 3D movie before. Like, why would they notice if this nigga was on water or on stones? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh my God. We and we were thinking because you know, there's some holy rocks and stuff like that a lot of times Jewish people too, they go there and they pray for their loved ones. And we were just like, me and my sister, thinking, because like when you pray for your loved ones, sometimes you show a picture, you put the picture next to the rock and you pray for it. So it's like
beautiful.
It is beautiful. So we were like, imagine if this girl just walking in with her iPhones and she doesn't have pictures, like, here, this, and she's like kind of scrolls the pictures, like, see that? That's Matthew. And she just starts scrolling the phone and showing the rock the phone.
No.
And I'm like, and the rock is like, dude, I'm a rock. I don't.
The rock. The rock. The rock is like, jabroni, what am I doing here? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
So let's explain a little bit about what are we doing this podcast. It's called Fuck That. And we start that's what we're thinking of doing. We start every show, every podcast, and just reading some stuff that happened recently and commenting and saying what You so Jihan has this smile on her face right now, like
I always have a smile on my face.
What she's holding her phone right now. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the wonderful and new 6th branch of the military called the Space Force.
Space Force.
Oh my God, America,
man.
we're gonna be fighting wars in space. Like Star Wars.
So you're gonna have another division. I wonder if, you know, because I know the U.S. Army sometimes trains with the Israeli Army. When I was in the Army, we will have troops of U.S. Soldiers that come and kind of like train with us. I wonder.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If Israel is part of this whole
Space Force? Well, you know what?
And Israel's like, Netanyahu was like, listen, we fought this, we fought that. We
listen. Well, Trump did.
We can fuck with everybody. Give me an alien. I see Netanyahu was like, give me an alien. I'll
Didn't he decide to put the embassy in Israel?
In Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem, right? So yeah, maybe, I don't fucking know. I'm like, Space Force, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, what? This sounds like some fucking parody movie. Like, it sounds like Star Wars, like a parody of Star Wars.
I wonder if Trump's gonna care about the color of the aliens, like, or like where they're from. Like, if you're from Mars,
America first, America. We could kill these aliens. They bring their worst people. They bring rapists.
Oh my God. I mean, and you know that, like, so you guys are gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for it because I'm an immigrant, but you guys. So you guys are gonna pay for it.
Taking our jobs. No, listen. They're already spending an absorbent amount of money on the military. We're in debt up to the wazoo. Like, how are we paying for the fucking Space Force? Listen, no one's even like lived in space like for real yet. You know what I mean? How are we gonna be fighting up in that bitch?
So Trump was like, I've never been there, but we can take them down, man.
No, did you see they did a fucking Daily Show they sent a correspondent to one of the rallies and they asked about the Space Force and they were like, Space Force is good, 'cause ISIS, space ISIS. We gotta defeat space ISIS.
This is like, it's
like, I think it makes a lot of sense. ISIS probably be fighting in space next time. I'm like, bro, they're in fucking caves. How can they afford to get to the fucking moon? Like, how can they get in space? They can't even get a house.
oh my God.
They live in a cave.
They live in
They
tunnels.
They live
most
in
of the
underground
time.
fucking.
They can't even see the sky.
Listen. They're in the fucking earth. How they gonna get off the earth? Like, space asses. One dude was like, you know what? It's probably, gonna waste a lot of money, but it's good because it's cool.
I had this I said this joke once on stage is like, they're gonna they asked Trump how he's gonna fund this new Space Force, and he said the aliens gonna pay for it. But then I just told it to my roommate, and he was like, I think they did. I saw a meme with that joke. I was like, fuck that. Damn it.
Of course, it's the first one.
I said it a long time ago.
That's funny.
And I originally thought about it, but
Way to burst your bubble, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you live in denial a little.
I am.
Or DeJordan. Oh, I'm just kidding. That was a cheesy joke.
I wonder if Trump thinks he's
Talking
gonna
about the
like
river.
recruit the Israeli army to just like fight these aliens.
No, just
like,
get Sacha Baron Cohen. Dude, I
he's
haven't
gonna
seen.
dress up as an alien. That's his new movie.
That's gonna be his next thing. I am from the planet Zonan.
Oh my
I will
God.
not build your wall.
Oh, what'd you say?
Your
with
space wall.
The space wall is what it was like. The space wall it's the ozone layer. It's not a wall. It's science. God damn it.
Dude, I had a dude tell me. He said, he was like, the moon landing was fake. Humans can't survive in space. I was like, what are you talking about? So all those astronauts just lied about going to space? There's astronauts who actually were like living in space, like in a station, space station. He's like, it's all lies. It's all lies. They doctored everything. I'm like, okay, Negro. Then he was like, and we're aliens too. I was like, okay, I can't listen to you anymore. I can't. I was like, he goes, you know what he tells me? He goes, you know what? The Egyptians did not build the pyramids, okay? It was aliens, because aliens came down, they mixed their DNA with our DNA, and that's how, and they built the pyramids.
Okay, first of all, I have to say that that's not true at all, because the Egyptians didn't build the pyramids. It was the fucking Jews. They slaved the fucking Jews. I sing about it every year in Passover that we had to be slaved and build those stupid fucking pyramids. And that's stupid, but, we had to die building it. And so he's not going to take that credit away. If there's something Jews don't like, if you take credit away for their hard labor.
Well, he's saying, okay, maybe Jews built them, but they're not purely Jews. They're part alien. They're alien Jews.
I mean, that right now, I am an alien.
Oh,
Because
you are?
because that's how it's called. And some immigrants that get like a artist visa, it's called an alien with extraordinary ability. And my lawyer was like, well, you think you can apply to that? And I was like, dude, I'm not that funny. But give me a couple of years.
I have a friend who's on one of those. She's waiting. Well, she got her green card, but she's waiting. She has to wait 5 years. She has to like be like on her P's and Q's and shit, and like have legit jobs and shit, and pay her taxes, and then she can apply for citizenship.
That's nice.
Yeah, but she's from South Africa.
That's nice.
But she's a white South African.
I mean, I feel like Trump like Israelis, so if anything, I'm like a VIP immigrant. If there was like it's such a horrible thing to say, but you have.
I don't know if he saw you, he might not think so.
But I feel like, hey,
You're a little brown.
Right, but he didn't see me though.
He He's like, who let this Mexican in here? What did I tell you? They're coming through.
Right.
Can you imagine?
I actually did the headshots and because the guy I started acting and he said I could go for Mexican roles. So
That's what I'm telling you.
See,
Not with that accent.
no, fuck. I have to.
Shit, you could be the Mexican girl in the corner who doesn't talk.
I could be a Mexican mute. All right, we're getting on a hand here. So I want to kind of go for
What? Your stories?
the segment, the fuck that segment, the second segment of the fuck that podcast, which is we share a story that made you go, well, fuck that.
You should start it off. I did the Space Force. I'm tired.
Just started. Okay, I should start. I don't know. It's okay. So I told you before, it might be a little heavy, but fuck that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
good.
go. I'm
We'll
gonna
lighten
go.
it up with me.
So the story bit. So I was just released from the Israeli army, and there's a thing in Israel that after you've served your time in the army, usually what you do is you save up a little bit and you go travel somewhere in India, in South Africa, in South America, wherever you want to go when you can afford to go but for like months, because you need it. So I decided to go to India because it was, beautiful and cheap. And I ended up in this place called Andaman Island, which is a beautiful, beautiful place in India. It's the actual story behind that island is that when India fought for its independence, and when they won, they gave the rebels land for fighting for the independence, and it was on Andaman Island. So the people there have land, and they live relatively nice and stuff like that. It's a beautiful place. But I was supposed to meet my friends in this place called Beach Number 5. And back in that day, there was no Google. There was no, there was phones, but it wasn't really smart. It's just like you're in buttfuck nowhere. You can't Google shit. Like, figure it out. So I see this local guy on a bicycle, and I was like, excuse me, you know how to get a Beach Number 5? So he goes like, yeah, come follow me. I was like, well, that was easy. All right. So I follow him, and I'm with my bicycle, and I just like, follow after him. And then he takes like a left turn to this like coconut woods.
Oh,
and I'm like,
no.
what? But then I was thinking, like, what? Most of the ways to the beaches were like, you have to go through coconut woods and then you reach the beach. I was like, maybe you're right. Let's see. And then,
Oh God,
so he stops the
sounds
car.
like a fucking Lifetime movie.
Oh my God, sorry about that.
No, it's getting good. It's scary.
So he stops his bicycle, and then he goes into these like bushes, and he like, he makes the way to the bushes in one hand, and the other hand he's like, follow me, come on, follow me. And I'm like, your inner, woman voice is like, don't go with this motherfucker, like, don't go, don't go. But like, there's another voice that's like, well, maybe it'll be fun. Like, just check it out. So stupid sometimes. So I follow him in the bushes. And there's like a little piece of beach, like, so this was not Beach Number 5. It's like I had 20 friends waiting in Beach Number 5. Like, I knew all the Israeli tourists there. There's no way this is Beach Number 5. There's a little piece of beach and a purple kitchen towel on the beach.
What?
Yes. And I'm looking at this towel, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So he looks at me, and he starts like now explaining to me what his intentions are, but he can't really speak English. He's like, it has broken English. So it's like he kind of like sign language and mimes that he is now gonna like try to have sex with me now. Just like that. But he's kind of like, me, you, like, he's like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying, it's like charades. I'm like trying to figure out. Just stop. I'm standing there with like the towel. And so I'm figuring out like, okay, this motherfucker is going to try to do some shit to me now. And like, he's explaining all this thing. And like, all I can think of was like, is that a kitchen towel? Is that a fucking, am I going to get raped on a fucking purple kitchen towel? And fucking, India, is this what's gonna happen to me?
So
And I'm like,
small.
what the? And I was like, what kind of a unexperienced rapist? Like, you can't have sex on a kitchen towel. Like, it's too fucking small. I'm gonna have sand in my vagina. It's gonna be more annoying than the actual rape. You know how long it takes to get that shit. I'm like, so like he's explaining. I'm like, I'm looking at the sky and I'm like, I pray to the God of the Jews. I was like, please, God of the Jews, please help. I know I've requested all kinds of bullshit requests before, like find me a good parking space and stuff like that. But this time is for real. Like, hear me out, please. Hear your Jew out. Like, and like I was like, I should like. I really try to focus to pray to the God of the Jews because Indian people had a lot of gods. Like, I didn't want to mix it up and pray for the God of sex. No, I'm trying to fuck this fucker
through.
back.
Trying to break through.
the God of passion makes me horny.
Stop.
And so, and all of a sudden, like, but while he's doing this shit, I feel like this energy all through my body of like just rage. I was like raging, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I did not go through all the stuff I went through in my life. Like, I was just released from the Israeli army. Like, I went through all this bullshit in my life to get raped by an Indian skinny dude that's skinnier than me and short. It's like he's my height on a fucking kitchen towel. I was like, fuck that. That's not what's gonna go happen. But that's not what's gonna happen right now. So somehow this rage built into this voice, and I was like, listen up, motherfucker. And I'm like, I get this closer. It was like, do you know who I am? You know who I am. I'm the daughter of the Israeli boss. If you're going to, like, in 5 minutes from now, they're going to be helicopters here. And because the Israeli army's going to find you and they're going to get you. And you're going to, they're going to put in fucking Israeli prison. You know, that's the worst fucking prison. If they got like terrorist people in that prison. And you're going to get, I don't know if I can say it on like are we gonna upload this to iTunes? Like, can we
Why is it a bad word?
Let's just say I want like Pulp Fiction. What's his name?
You went Sam Jackson
on Pulp Fiction on this motherfucker. And so I finished my stuff, and there's like a moment of silence, and he looks at me, and I look at him, it's like silence, and in my heart, I was like, please, God of the Jews, please, God of the Jews. Just make this work. So he looks at me, and he gets his bike, and he leaves, and he starts bicycling away back to whatever the fuck he came from. So the thing is, the fucked up thing about this story is that I'm standing there, but I still don't know how to get to beach number 5. And this is like already 3:00. I've got like 3 hours of sun. So I'm like, okay, what do? I take my bicycle and I start following him.
Why are you following him?
Because I didn't know. I was like, this guy is gonna go back to the roads. I don't know how to go back.
You should have just went back the way you came.
Dude, do you know a coconut forest, how dangerous that is? That thing
coconut
can fall on your head and you die. That's like the last thing I wanted. Like, almost get raped, get saved, and then get killed by a coconut.
Jesus.
Just like
how'd you even make it through the first time, the coconut
It
forest?
didn't. It's chance if they fall on your head.
Oh, it's chance.
So I follow this
Jesus,
guy,
that's why
right?
you gotta wear a helmet, motherfucker. This is when America rules, okay? You gotta wear helmets in America.
Well, we were not in Kansas anymore. Let me tell you that. So I'm cycling after this guy, and he looks back, and now he thinks he's being chased. So I catch that. I was like, well, there's nothing else you can do but look him in the eyes. I was like, yeah, but go faster, motherfucker. I'm getting to you. And that's the day I chased my rapist back away.
Oh my god.
And that was my fuck that story.
Was he when he presented the towel to you, did he say
The kitchen
ta-da?
towel? Listen. I remember I was thinking like, what kind of a fucking sicko rapes people on a fucking kitchen? It's probably his aunt's kitchen towel. And he was like, he was taking the kitchen. I was like, when are you going to go and do that? He was like, oh, nothing. And he takes that kitchen towel, like, and he keeps taking his aunt's kitchen towels. And he's like, why are you taking all my towels?
No, but how long did he wait to find someone to follow him to this location?
And he found, and like, he couldn't make, this is like the worst fucking victim he could have chosen. Really, like, this is like, I don't know if he's a first time guy. Like, obviously he wasn't experienced with what he was doing, luckily for me, but like, I'm like, you chose the wrong bitch.
Was his body language like very threatening?
It was very threatening, and the thing is, I was scared. I was like, yes, he's my size, but what if he has a knife? What if he has, like, he's
still a man though.
He's still a man. What if he has a knife? And the thing is, I was like, listen, you know what? In one of the moments, I was like, because the thing that got me so upset is also like, not just like what he thinks that gonna happen is like, who the fuck does he think he is? Who the fuck do you think you are that you're gonna do this to me? Like, do you know where I've been? Like, no.
You think he probably does it to like foreign women too? Like, he probably does it to tourists because he knows they're gonna leave.
Right.
Like, you can't fuck a local, because in the local, the family will come get you.
Right, and it's a small place.
Yeah, for sure, and they'll know. You should have asked around, like, do you know this fucking guy? They're like, oh yes, we know him. That's Punjab. He's always
Punjab.
I couldn't think of an Indian name. That was the first one I thought of right now. He's over here. Yeah, and he had the kitchen towel, right?
Oh my God.
What if he's like the kitchen towel rapist?
Dude,
that's his name.
The kitchen towel, and it was purple, and I was like, that's an interesting choice of color. Because fuck, man.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, that is crazy. But you know what? Sometimes I was blessed that day. The God of the Jews heard my
shit. So one of them did.
and I threatened him with lies because nobody's coming to get me.
Listen, you do what you gotta do, girl. I've never been in that situation.
Right.
Oh,
and then I went to my friends. I got to beach number 5. I was like, yo, where were you? This like almost evening. Like, the old day's gone. I was like, dude, you're not gonna believe what happened to me. And I told him what happened. He was like, what are you like? Beach number 5 is after beach number 4.
I know they're numerical. They're numerical.
Fucking idiots. What are you gonna ask somebody and follow them?
Oh my God. Of course she did. She said 8:40. Okay, that's my sister. Anyway, sorry. Sister just tried to call me. She told me 8:45. This bitch is 10 o'clock. She's all right. So my story is it actually involves the said sister who just called me. So this was when I was about 10 years old. My dad started dating this woman who he knew from his past. They had like grown up together as like young people, like 18, 19 years old. They used to run around, I don't know, smoking pot and shit. I don't know what the fuck, whatever they did in the 70s, you know,
right.
In Oakland, right? Black folk. And it was like years later, and he started dating her. And then they were like, decided they were going to get married. And I was like, okay. She was nice at first. And then they got married and everything changed. And she became a crazy person. She was like super crazy religious, like very Christian. And we were Muslim before. So we were Muslim. Right. And then my dad converted to Christianity.
Wow. Well, how was that like? How old were you?
When he converted, I was 11.
And what like, so one day you went to church and the other you went to the
No, I just went, like, because my parents were divorced, so I would see my dad every other weekend. So like when I would go with him, we'd go to her house. And she, at the time, I was living in Richmond and she lived in San Jose. So that's like an hour away from where I lived. So it was a long way. So it wasn't like my dad could just take me home. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm there, I'm fucking there. Like, right. I can't go home. You know what I mean? My mom's not coming to get me.
Right.
Unless someone's murdered. But like, it's like, no, I would go to church with them And she was like, she was super religious, but they were like non-denominational church. You know, they weren't like Catholic or Lutheran. It was like non-denomination, whatever. And I remember the first time I saw some lady like fall out or something because she had the Holy Ghost or whatever. And I was like, the fuck?
Wait, so that's when you were when it was Christian
Yeah, it was Christian.
with the ghost, the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Islam is very reserved.
I know,
Everyone's like, everyone's like in their place, you know what I mean? And so, and you know, and I was a young kid. I was little, so like like the kids would even be in a separate section. Like, you know, it'd be like the women would be in one section, the men would be in one section.
Right. The Jews have that too. The women
Yeah.
are in one section. I don't know. The kids, it's just women and men. I think
The women and men, and then they had like an area in the back for kids. And but if you're like an older kid, you can be in the room with the adults. Like if you're a girl or you're a guy, whatever. But I was so young, like I was in the back with the kids, like running around and fucking doing whatever. And my dad wasn't like ultra even religious then. Like I didn't have to wear a hijab or anything, or like a niqab or anything like that.
Right.
The only thing is like we couldn't eat pork, you know. He was really strict about that, but not really about anything else. And so when we went to this lady's house, and she was like fucking crazy, and like she told me I couldn't wear a fucking robe in her house.
What?
Yeah, like like when they had first gotten married. They had been married, you know, maybe a little under a year. And I was visiting my dad, and we get up in the morning and everyone's going to eat breakfast, right? I'm wearing full pajamas, okay? It's not like I'm wearing a nightgown. I'm wearing pants and a shirt and probably socks too, because I was like a very covered child. I had big boobs, you know.
Okay. She's a very covered child. I was like, what?
I covered my body. And so like I was going downstairs, so I just put my robe on over my pajamas, fully clothed. And I go and I sit down to get my cereal, and she's like, "No, we don't allow that in our house. No robes or some." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "No, you can't have that on here." And like she made me go change.
That robe.
Yeah.
But
like
why?
I don't know. She like made me put clothes on. I was like, I haven't showered yet. Just put the clothes on. And so like I had to
I like the voice that you're giving. Just
put the clothes on. Put the clothes on, right? And so like, yeah, she made me put the clothes on and like, you know, eat dinner. So like that was like, it was like little shit like that.
Was it weird? Like, was it like
that's
awkward in the
Yeah,
table
was-
for a second?
Yeah. But
What was your dad? Was he
listen,
there?
her kids are so used to it. They're just like, whatever. Like her kids know she's crazy. No, my dad, I don't know. My dad, when he's with someone, he blindly follows them a lot of the time.
Right.
So like, okay, it was like little shit like that would
They're
happen.
like, okay, now we're Muslim.
no, we're Christian now. Like we were Muslim. Like that's all I
Right,
knew
right,
was
right, right,
Islam, right? And then now we're Christian. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
okay. And then, and my mom is not very religious, so she didn't care either way. I still had Christmas, okay?
Right.
It was like the best
For the
of fucking both
gifts.
worlds, dude. I had Christmas and
gifts.
Eid.
Right.
It was great. But you know, like it was like little shit like that. She would do little condescending shit like that. You know what I mean? Or tell me I can't watch Sailor Moon or some shit
What?
like that. She's like, "That's the devil."
Oh my God.
And she's like, "You can't watch that in our house. It's the devil. That's the devil."
I think
I'm
she
like,
should
"Bitch, I
adopt-
think you're the devil."
Oh.
And so, yeah. So and at the time, she was taking care of her grandson because her son was in prison, and and her grandson's mother was a crackhead. Okay, so she had her grandson. And so since my parents, she was going through the process of adopting him when my dad got with her. And so they had to redo the whole adoption because they got married. And so he ended up adopting her grandson, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so now he has this other kid. I'm like, "Excuse me, bitch?" Like, I'm the youngest, okay?
Wow.
I'm the baby, but now we got this other kid. But it's like, whatever, I don't care. And he lives with them. I don't live with my dad. And so, and you know, like every other weekend I go to their house, and on Saturday, I'm ready to go out with my dad, do stuff with my dad, because, you know, I don't live with him. And then she'd be like, "We're cleaning the whole house."
Ah.
And then I'd have to sit and wait for them to finish cleaning the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like she would do little petty shit like that, right?
How old were you?
This was like between the ages of like 11 and 15ish,
Wow.
16ish, and then
That's an important age.
yeah, and then I stopped going. But so 5 years into the marriage, they got married, I think, in '01. And 5 years in, he started to realize what a crazy bitch she was. You know, finally. It's like, this nigga is slow. So he finally starts realizing she's crazy. And they're like, you know, having disagreements. And then they like kind of separate. But they're not divorced, but they separate. He finds he starts staying closer to where I live, which I was like, oh, good. My dad's so much closer now. Like, I don't have to drive an hour to get to my dad. And so, because they adopted this kid together, he got like visitation, right? And they had settled it, and they were getting divorced, and they had settled it. He was going to pay child support. So then he had
for her grandson.
Yeah. So he was going to have to pay child support for him and me. Okay, nigga, don't forget about me. He's still paying child support on me. So
Wow.
So he goes he goes to pick him up for the first weekend, right? So like, you know, it's the same deal with me, except it's like the other weekend, you know what I mean? So we're alternating weekends, me and this other little boy. He goes to pick him up the first weekend, and he tells my sister, he's like, why don't you come with me? 'Cause, you know, I don't know what this bitch is going to be like, you know? And he goes to pick him up. So they go to her house, and they were driving up the driveway. And the way that the house was like, it was right off the main street, but there was like a hedge. And then you turn into it, and it was this long driveway because there was like townhouses. And so there was like a little, you know, like a little lot with parking spaces. And so it was like really long.
Right.
So you like drive up to it. And this bitch saw my dad and my sister coming. She took the little boy, threw him in her car, and sped off. For real. And my mom, listen, and they're like, the fuck? And my sister was like, fuck that. She like started chasing her up the fucking parkway, bitch. Like high speed chase, dude. It was like fucking OJ and the Bronco. Like she's chasing him up the parkway. Like, and she threw the kid in the car. It's like speeding up. Mind you, they went to court and everything. This is his this is his right. Like,
and
we decided,
and you're in the car watching all this happen.
This is crazy. No, I wasn't there because at the time I was like 16, and I got a summer job, and I was at work, and my sister told me this. She was like, "Girl, do you know what your fucking dad's fucking crazy ass wife did?" And I was like, "What, girl? This bitch." She said, "I had to chase her up the goddamn parkway."
It's not funny, but it's the visual. It's like,
no, she's crazy, dude. She like throws him in the car, and they like chase her for, I don't know, like a good 15, 20 minutes. And they finally get that bitch to like come back.
So they play like,
yeah, it was like she was the
it was like a game of, he was like a ball in a way.
I don't know.
It's like a game of,
God damn, he was like the contraband. And she was trying to get away, dude. And, like, she's so crazy. And my dad was like, dude.
Wait, he's running. When did he stop?
Listen, they're all in the car. She's in the car with the kid, and then my dad's in the car with my sister.
And so it's a car chase.
Yes, they're chasing her.
Oh my God.
In a fucking vehicle. Okay? Fucking crazy bitch. And they finally get her to come back. And like had this whole like blowout. And then my dad was just like, forget it. Like, I'm so sorry, I can't take you. And like he leaves. And then after a while, he relinquished his parental rights.
Wow.
To the kid. And so
I wonder what he said to the judge.
I have no idea, but what a crazy bitch. She's crazy. And you know what's so sad is like her kids, they know she's crazy, But you know, that's their mom.
Yeah, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But this kid, she was like, I was adopted by a crazy person. So like you had
yeah, listen, but she was the
luck
least.
didn't
She
struck
was
you.
the least worse out of his options. Like his daddy's in prison and his mom was a crazy fucking crackhead. Now that bitch was crazy.
Oh my
He wouldn't
God.
have been better off with her. And then she
Wow.
kept having kids after him. She named her kid Ashanti.
Like the singer? How was the song she sang?
Oh baby, oh baby.
Well,
All her songs have that in
they're
it.
crying. Oh, so she crying all the time, right?
She got a lazy eye.
She got they're crying. What was? I used to like her song. I used to listen to it in Israel and pretend like I have a boyfriend.
This is her. It goes, in all her videos, she'd go, "You, me, touch yourself. You, me, touch yourself."
Wait, I gotta listen to that.
Well, you can't play it on here.
Oh, I can sing it though.
You can listen
If
to
I
it.
can see the
you
if
can
I can
sing
see
it, yeah.
the name.
Don't play it on here.
I'm not gonna
because
play
we
it.
don't own the copyrights.
Foolish. I can all playing this beat after all these years. Gotta not that with you. I'm 15 years old. I'm in fucking Tel Aviv. I'm that little Jewish girl in Tel Aviv. I'm pretending like I have a boyfriend that broke my heart because like not even in Tel Aviv. I was in Ra'anana. I was kind of like the Sherman Oaks of Israel. After all these years, I'm like 15. What years? Years ago, I didn't even have a vagina.
That bitch was
He
that
was
much older than you, though. What was she talking about?
The thing is, they had that kind of music in They had hip hop in Israel when I was 15, but it was very new.
Yeah.
So, and it was cool because it was like nobody. There was no hip hop in Israel in these times. It was just like when we used to go to a hip hop party. It was like me and like 13, like not 30, let's say 75 people. It was me and 75 people in the whole country that like hip hop and they like R&B and
So what they listen to? Hava Nagila or something?
all kinds of stuff. And my
Like, if you
parents
listen to hip hop.
and my parents were like, "This is not music. This is just people talking fast." And you know,
That's what they said here. That's what they said here.
really,
Of course, when hip hop first started, old people didn't like it.
Oh my God.
Old people still don't like it.
I remember like my first CD, my real CD, because I was like, burning everything. And Napster, I don't remember what it was, but we were burning CDs.
LimeWire, baby. I remember LimeWire.
LimeWire, we had, I don't know what we had.
Like you're sharing files and shit.
Yeah. And so the first CD I ever got, the real one, was Mystical. My friends got it to me. It was like 15 or 16 birthday, and I remember we used to love this. Danger! Watch your back! Danger! That what? Get on the floor! And dude, I was singing it, and I was trying to relate. And I was like, danger! I was like, maybe they also have war over there, because it's like, watch your back. And I was like, because I was trying to find things from my life to relate. I was like, maybe they also have like terrorism. Watch your back. I was like, because there were bombs and stuff, you know? There's like,
we just didn't call it that, but yeah.
so I was like, we had a whole dance. I can show you. It was like,
be careful.
danger, watch your back. Like 15-year-old in Rwanda. We used to love that song. And my parents thought I was on drugs. My mom was like, "Oh, we're gonna get you a car, but only if you take a drug test." Because it's like, "Mom, why do you think I'm taking drugs?" It's like, "Oh, the music that we don't like." They thought it's because I was blasting it like it was really loud. And listen, there was no platform in my upbringing that would explain this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Israel. Like most of my friends would listen to rock, Green Day.
Yeah.
I used to love Green Day. Do you have the time to listen to me? Why? And
they're from where I'm from. You know that they went to my high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I always wonder. Like, I wonder if all these all these artists know there was like little girls in fucking Israel.
Of course,
they
they
were
know,
jamming to their
bitch. They
stuff.
toured to all these places. I don't know about Israel though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Where
saying.
where do you like? I know people perform in Israel, but where do they usually?
They
What is the performance space there?
They have in Tel Aviv. Lauryn Hill was there. Rihanna, 50 Cent. Did Michael Jackson come? He might have canceled. I don't remember. The Doors
It's a lot
was
of
there.
Is it weird that like you live like you're from somewhere that's just like its very existence is political?
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Like people, like I'm sure there's a lot of artists who probably
canceled.
They were booked to perform there, but they didn't for political reasons.
Yeah. They canceled. Not just the artists, also in sports. There was a recent soccer game that was supposed to be like a friendly soccer thing that was canceled because just political bullshit. And I remember all the soccer fans were really pissed because there was like, what? There's like, why do you have to ruin everything for everybody? But like they were supposed to do like a game of like for peace, and I don't remember the details of the story, but I remember there was like, why can't we just play sports? But you know, it is what it is.
Well, or how do you think this first one went?
I mean, we talked about rape. We
Oh my
talked about
God.
war.
We
and
talked about fucking kitchen towels.
We talked about converting religions.
That's so true.
We talked about crazy stepmoms.
Oh my God, I didn't even call her that.
And we talked about Mystical.
Oh, you know, you can't have a podcast without talking about Mystical.
Is he? I wonder where is he?
I don't know.
No,
Listen, I was like, that's how I felt about Ashanti for a minute. But last time I saw Ashanti, she was on fucking Drag Race. Dude,
what is that? Drag Race?
Oh my God, what?
What is that?
Excuse me?
I don't forget that I'm not from here.
It's a drag queen competition
But she's a girl.
show.
I thought the drag people are men.
Yeah, she's one of the judges. She's a guest judge. This bitch is not in drag. Well, maybe with that eye. But no, she's not in drag. No. We got to watch Drag Race now. Jesus, I can't believe you. Come
never
on, for the
seen it.
culture. For the culture.
Yeah.
Drag Race.
I mean, that's the one thing that's the one topic we haven't covered.
Dude, I'm obsessed with queens right now. Like I've been watching Drag Race the last season, which I know I'm late. Hey, everyone, all the fans out there of Drag Race, yeah, I'm hella late. Okay, I didn't know who won. Okay, I just found out.
Okay, now I gotta watch this thing. Now I gotta watch the thing. The thing is, a lot of things for me are like new. Like Davey told me that some of the things that he's showing me is fun because it's like you're showing someone for the first time something.
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
they flip. They're like, what?
Dude, drag queens are the best, man.
No, we have drag queens in Israel and everything, but I just didn't know
I'm
the
sure you
show.
do. Oh no, not like this.
What do
bitch.
they do there?
It's a competition, so they put them in these ridiculous like situations, and they have to like compete, and they do these crazy costumes, and they're funny. You know, drag is like comedy and pageantry and fashion. It's like all these things in one. But I'm also obsessed with this show called Pose, and it's like about the New York City Harlem balls. So they used to have these balls, like, you know, balls like parties, dances. People are dressed extravagantly in New York City in like the 80s. I think I want to say it started in the 70s, like 70s, 80s in Harlem, New York. Mostly like black and brown people, like trans people, gay people, drag queen, like all those people. And they would have categories, and you would dress up in that category, and you would walk, and then they would judge you, and then, you know, a person would win, and they win these like elaborate trophies. They never won money or anything. It was just for the credibility and respect. And it's like this great underground scene of these like queer folk, and it's just really interesting.
Well, now I got two shows I need to watch.
You got to watch Paris is Burning though before you watch Pose. Watch that, and then Pose will make so much sense to you. You won't be asking hella questions.
Is that on Netflix?
yeah, these I don't know if Pose is on Netflix, but um Paris is Burning is definitely on Netflix. You gotta watch that. It's a documentary about the balls, and they shot it. They have footage from that time, from the 80s, like actual humans.
I love that.
From that time.
I love that.
The show Pose is based on that documentary, like the balls.
I love that. They have, in Israel, they have one of the biggest gay parades in the world in Tel Aviv.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I remember one time I went and
how was it? Which wig did you wear?
I didn't wear a wig, but I remember I kissed a girl.
Oh, and you liked it.
And I liked it. It was great. I was like 16 years old.
And how was it?
It was great. I remember we kissed, and then like all these camera people went and they like circled around us and took pictures and videos, and it was just all these flashes kind of made the moment kind of magical.
Oh,
because it was just like it was really fun. It was really fun, but it was a kiss. It was great.
I never get kissed at Pride. I have been complimented once because my titties are magical.
They are. I love to put my face in your titties, like it just rests there. I love it.
Well, you have those, but you have like sleeper tits. They're like those. They're like titties. They don't seem that big, and then you put a bra on or something, or you put a shirt on that's tight, and you're like, God damn, those titties.
One is bigger.
Everyone's one is bigger. My
bigger.
right is
my
bigger.
left one. I feel like that's where my
Really?
heart is. I thought that's why I was like, because your heart is.
That is where your heart is, though. Your heart is on your left side.
Is it your left side? But it's kind of like middle-ish, so I don't know.
No, it's off to the left. People think it's here, but it's not. It's right here. It's like under your breast.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, I never had a problem with that. Not that you asked, but I'm telling you.
About your boobs?
I never had the problem. Still, the left one is substantial. There's like...
It's noticeably bigger is what you're saying.
It's like I got bipolar titties.
Stop.
One is like
big.
But the thing is, I never had a complaint because they're both uniquely cute. It's just, I'm not trying to flatter myself. I'm saying like they look very different, but they're both okay.
Oh my God. Well,
sometimes I would sing to my boyfriend like, "I'm not a girl, not yet a woman."
Stop.
Like, and I
I'm
was
sure
just
he
like,
likes it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I mean, because one hand is slightly bigger than the other. So he's
Really?
like, yeah, this can go in my small hand. And this
Right.
one goes.
Right.
All right. I think we should wrap this mother up.
All right, cool.
Should we do like special thanks?
Special thanks to Davian Wax for helping us and letting us be in their dope studio.
Yeah.
Guys, you don't even know, like this place is so fun. I'm like surrounded with a million keyboards that I don't even know, but they look really, really, really
They look
professional.
super impressive.
Like, and this whole thing is like full of lights, and it just looks like one big party.
Hey.
And I wish I could know how to sing. But
I would like to give a shout out to the Jewish gods for saving Or from that goddamn kitchen towel.
from that day, I promised God I would never give you any bullshit prayer anymore. Like I would never. And I never prayed for good parking space. I never prayed for like any, like something like, please God, make this guy like me. No.
Stupid.
No.
Yeah, I don't do that. Make this guy like me.
Whatever. I don't know. Whatever bullshit.
What do you think? God's a wizard?
He's
No,
like,
I'm just
he's
kidding.
like, no, I can't make this guy.
Hey, he ain't for you. All right. I think that was a fun first episode.
Thank you guys for listening into the
Fuck
Fuck That podcast. And
with Orange Jahan.
with Or and Jihan. Please come back, tune in, come see. What do you have a next show coming up?
I don't know when we're gonna put this up.
Oh, right. All right. Yeah. I know. Come to put this up. Come to
What?
the Comedy Store.
Oh, yeah.
On Mondays.
Monday, she hosts a little
On
show
Mondays,
up
I
there.
host a little show up at the Belly Room. And
I am doing at the end of the month of August, I will be in Arizona doing a
for
mini
your tour, right?
Yeah, a mini
That's
tour
fun.
called the Melon and Poppin' Comedy Tour with the fabulous Angelica Mackey, who's actually in the room with us right now, like watching and laughing in the corner.
Hey
Say hi.
guys.
Also with Chaz Carter, Madison Hedgecock. Ooh, that just slipped. Because I'm not getting enough in my life. But also, and Thenya Natunda. And it's going to be a party.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll see you next time.
I'm like waving. Nobody can see me.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Fuck that.